I would imagine that Mitch Keller is going to be traded, like this winter. No? Okay, well, maybe I should start there. Good morning to you. Good. Monday morning, I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. When it comes to this franchise, anytime you're discussing or debating something that might involve payroll, probably the best place to start. Mitch, of course, signed a 5-year, $77 million extension. That was in February of last year. That thing runs through 2028. The salary figures for the next 3 seasons for Mitch, who is the Pirates' highest paid player, are $16.5 million, $18 million, and $20 million. Now, if that doesn't already sell you on Mitch being a goner, I'm going to try a little bit harder, but I don't think I'll have to try too hard, because my further belief is that this payroll is not going to go up. It might even go down. Within that, you have presumably, as the owner of the franchise, as Bob Nutting, given some sort of mandate or edict to management, judging by Travis Williams' comments at the most recent availability, to make the playoffs. That was Williams' term, not mine. Make the playoffs. You're not going to make the playoffs with the way this team hits. Obviously, you're not going to go out and get a hitter if your payroll's not going up. You could trade prospects for a hitter, but that hitter would still probably have to make some kind of money. You could trade pitching prospects for hitting prospects, but would anybody realistically be able to count on these guys and their evaluation of hitters to do something like that? No. What's there? What's most likely, by a million miles, based on all precedent, based on all reality, is that Mitch would be traded. And Mitch would be traded for some kind of grab bag of hitters. Guys who, they can hit a little bit, but our guys see something there. There might be a little bit of ceiling. We feel like we can tap that. We can make something out of that player. You can hear this stuff now, right? That's what's most likely, I think. I'm not even saying that to be skeptical or outright cynical. I'm not. I think this is the most plausible scenario. Mitch is going to get traded. There's going to have to be one player who comes back in that exchange who can carry a headline to an extent. Think Spencer Horwitz. Spencer wasn't going to wow anybody, but he also wasn't going to turn anybody off. Kind of like the real thing. Kind of like what we saw. Wasn't a great hitter. But at the same time, when I kept saying again and again and again, he's a low power, platoon hitting first baseman with a chronic wrist issue, sure enough, he ended the season being a low power, platoon hitting first baseman with a chronic wrist issue. But he carried the headline. In fact, he carried the winter, if you think about it. There really wasn't another player, unless you want to get into the Tommy Pham and Adam Frazier category, that the Pirates added. Well, trading Mitch is a little bit different than trading Luis Ortiz back then. Mitch will be an obvious move to lower payroll, first and foremost. And Mitch should get you something. Why? Because no matter how exasperating Mitch might be in the second half of seasons, or how exasperating the early portion of Mitch's career was that has a lot of people stung about him, still, he gives you the one thing that baseball executives covet more than anything else. It's innings. It's innings. And they're professional innings. He's good. He's not going to be challenging for a Cy Young award or anything like that, but he's good. And he's dependable. And he doesn't complain. This is what baseball teams covet. When you look at Mitch's salary range that I just laid out for you, that's right around where the 4 and the 5 type starters are on most competitive teams, meaning the ones that have the revenue, the ones that spend. So there should be a real return beyond salary relief, which does not help anybody who wants the Pirates to be competitive. That only helps the bottom line of the franchise. And I'm pretty sure everybody's past that, meaning, worrying about that sort of thing. So what do you get if you're Ben Cherington, Steve Sanders, and Steph? What do you get in this trade? Well, again, even trying to set aside Cherington's own rancid trade history, you have to bear in mind what the objective is. The principal objective here is to move salary out. There's no doubt in my mind on this one. If you're trading Mitch, you're trading him to clear out salary because payroll is not going to go up and there's all kinds of pressure, I think anyway, to make the playoffs. So you can go and get a 1-for-1 if you really trust yourself. You can go and get yourself a pretty nice hitter at $13, $14, $15 million a year and call it an even swap. Problem is, they're not any good at this. They have to realize it at this point, meaning identifying hitting. So they have to go and get the grab bag. The grab bag is almost certainly what Pittsburgh baseball fans have to look forward to this winter. Now, aren't you glad you tuned in? When we come back, J1Q.
If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers can compile your name, contact info, social security number, home address, even information about your family members, and they can sell it online. Have you ever been a victim of identity theft, harassment, doxing? If you haven't, you probably know someone who has. Delete Me can help. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Our listeners get a special discount. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/hit. Use promo code HIT at checkout. That's HIT. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/hit and enter HIT at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/hit, code HIT.
Today's J1Q comes from Anson, who, in reference to the most recent episode of this program and my attempting to explain why Paul Skeens doesn't openly criticize management or do or say a lot of the things that people would want. Anson says, Why not lament Andrew McCutchen staying mum on the incompetence above him? Why place that burden on Skeens alone? Well, first thing I have just to clarify is that I didn't place any burden on Skeens. I was explaining why he doesn't do it. I wasn't saying that he should. What Skeens probably should do for the betterment of Skeens is, get on out of here, which he could facilitate just by saying a handful of words. But he's not that guy. So I tried to explain why he's not that guy. Big difference between that and saying, hey, he should be doing this. Cutch is not that guy as well. But Cutch's case is so very different. He's not at the beginning of his brilliant career. He's not setting out to become the MVP someday. He's already done that. He's not setting out to get the Pirates to the playoffs. He's already done that. He's not setting out to rebond the city with its baseball club, as Clint Hurdle worded it back then. He's already done that. What Cutch did in coming back to Pittsburgh, and look, he was beyond open about that. He wanted to come home. This is home. He wanted to finish where he started. He wanted to try to be part of something successful, sure. But more than that, look, if he was cherry picking for a team or roster where he could go and have himself a shot at the World Series for the first time, he wouldn't come here. Obviously. So what happens? Well, you know that whole story. He reaches out to Bob Nutting. Nutting takes the call. Nutting gets this done. Nutting tells Travis Williams and Ben Cherington, get this done. Get him signed. Figure it out. Make it happen. So now, turn this around. You're Cutch. The guy at the very top was the one who just made this happen. What you wanted to happen. But then you're going to find some me walking around the clubhouse and you're going to say, hey, come on over here for a second. I got something to say. And you're just going to rip everybody? I mean, sometimes you have to get a little bit real world about this kind of stuff. This is real world. If Cutch had it in his DNA to rip those above him, he would have done that forever ago. If he had it in his heart to facilitate some sort of exit from the city and the team that he wanted to come back to, he'd have done that a long time ago. So looking for it now, honestly, Anson, I don't even get it. You're not the only one who feels that way, and you're free to feel that way, obviously. I don't have an issue with that. It's just, I don't know that it's based on anything that could actually occur. I appreciate the question, though. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates, and we'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.